What's up, guys? It's been about 9 or 10 days now since I last had some days off here. It's been raining and flooding almost everywhere we went. We've been real lucky out here so far down here, and all these floods and the rain that Oklahoma and Texas have been having. We've been driving ahead of it or right behind it the whole time. We've whenever we get to sleep at night, it's rained on us, and then a little bit of drive time we've been in the rain, but for the most part we've been right in between all these storms, which has been pretty lucky because it's been really bad. It's all these bad storms we've been having in Tulsa and or not Tulsa, but Oklahoma and Texas. We went through, I think it was San Marcos yesterday or day before yesterday, and it was flooded pretty bad. Right after we went over one of the bridges, we noticed the southbound lane was completely shut down, and I guess they were worried about the bridge washing away down there, so they just shut it down over there. They had traffic backed up pretty bad there, but for the most part, it hadn't been too bad for us. There's a little town over there by Wichita Falls we drove through where there was a bunch of water on the roads, and I think they actually shut that little town down after we passed through there. So we've been pretty lucky about being ahead of it or right behind it, and as far as the rain goes. I've got a lot of practice driving in the rain and in the wet areas, at least. I've seen a lot of wrecks. People need to be careful out there. I understand that a lot more now. Drivers are fucking stupid. The way that they'll drive around stuff and they'll speed around people, and we've got a following distance. We try to follow people in the trucks. We have to stop. It's usually about a football field, kind of about when you're up at full speed. But when we're going slower, it's a little closer. But people just pull right out in front of us and slow down. And I guess they don't understand that we're not going to stop if they stop. We're going to hit them. You're going to get hit. I mean, there's nothing that's going to stop it. If we've got a big gap in front of us in the next car and you decide to go in there because it's open and pull up in there, if you have to stop for some reason, you're going to get rear-ended and get hit by us because we can't stop, especially when we're empty. With a fully loaded, we might be able to stop, but you guys got to watch out. Just a little bit of information for you guys. When you see a truck driving and there's a huge gap between him and the person in front of him, that's there so that they can stop if that person slams on their brakes. If you pull in there, that's your problem at that point because we're not going to get hurt when we run into you. You are. Saw a truck flipped over on its side, blocking the road when we were coming back after it just started raining in one of the areas. I guess he's flipped over. It had happened pretty recently, I guess, because there wasn't a whole lot of trucks backed up behind him yet in cars, so the police and stuff were there, but it's pretty recent. We saw a guy that had gone off the side, down the embankment there, down into another road. Luckily, he didn't flip over. He was just stuck in the mud. They're pulling him out. We've seen a whole bunch of just regular four-wheeler cars wrecked out there, but we saw one the other day that had just happened. It was on its side, tires were still spinning, and there was a bunch of pedestrians there helping. There weren't any police or anything yet, so it had just happened right before we drove by. And yeah, when it's raining out there, and especially if you're in an area where you're not used to it raining, slow down or something. I don't know. Pay more attention because we've seen a lot of wrecks. I've seen a lot more wrecks in the last week than I've seen out driving around a long, long time. I don't see a whole lot of wrecks. I mean, I don't drive around a whole lot, or I didn't before anyway, so that's probably why. But I've seen a whole bunch of wrecks out there, and especially it's right after it starts raining. Most of them have happened right after it starts raining, or when it's been raining really heavy and people can't see at night. Those are when I've been seeing the most of them, but should definitely be careful out there. Basically, just doing the Dollar General accounts still. Same shit, different day, basically. I mean, I'm still not certain if I want to do them. The way that those idiots load up the trucks, I had to deal with that at my last job. And the people loading the trucks don't give a crap how hard it is for you to unload them. They'll mix stuff in there. They'll put stuff in there stupid. They use the bad carts with the broken wheels. They don't care. If they get it on there, they're done. They don't give a shit. So a lot of these Dollar Generals aren't made for trucks to back up to them. They're not made for us to push these little carts in there. And so if it's 107 degrees outside like it was the other day and you're in the trailer where it's going to be way hotter, you got to push out these things for 2 hours or however long it's going to take for you to get it all out of there. I don't know if I want to mess with that or not, especially during the summer. Maybe when it's cooler outside. I mean, it might pay all right, I guess, but I think there might be some better options. I'm going to look into some of that. But training is going, I haven't really learned a whole lot, honestly, in the training. I think driving around in Tulsa with Roadmaster prepared me more than actually driving around out here. I've had maybe 1 or 2 turns that I've had that were real tight, and like maybe a road or 2 that were real close on either side, like the stuff we drove through out there. I don't know if that's going to be the same for all the Roadmasters out there, but the one in Tulsa, we had the roads they took us on were just, they were not made for trucks. They were tight. The traffic was tight everywhere. I haven't really ran into a lot of that out there, especially like even on the interstates and the highways and stuff. Even through construction zones with lots of bumper to bumper traffic, it's not as bad as it is driving through the city and stuff like we had to do in Tulsa. So, the actual training hours, the way Werner does it's kind of pissing me off a little bit. I've been out there long enough now to where I should be able to drive overnight. But the way they're doing it, I mean, the way they told us, I mean, the whole thing with Werner here is they haven't had their shit together at all. The things the recruiter tell us, things we've heard in orientation, everything they've told us in the papers, the manuals, the whatever, it just doesn't seem like any of it matters. It's just kind of whatever. I've been out there long enough to where I should have been in phase 3 by now, I guess is what they go by, to where I can drive overnight. I should have my curfew lifted. I've drove enough hours. I've drove good enough, so... But I guess you have to actually log it on the hours of service on the Qualcomm a certain way, and all this stupid crap you got to do to make it work. And maybe he doesn't know what he's doing right with it, but I'm his like 5th student, and he says they've changed the way they do the students halfway through his thing there, so it's still kind of new to him the way they're doing it now. But it seems like it's just bullshit to keep us in the truck longer to basically milk the free labor out of us. They're not paying us a whole lot to be training in the truck. And really, I don't think they're paying him that much to be a trainer. It doesn't sound like he's getting enough for it to be worth it for me. Maybe once we go teams and I can drive overnight and then he can drive during the day. Because there's been once where he drove all night and I got up and drove the next day just so we could get to our next spot faster. But once that starts going, he'd probably get paid a little better, but I don't think it sounds like it's... they're basically paying both of us put together what one person I think should be getting paid to do this by themselves, but it seems like their training isn't... I don't think they've got it... I don't know if they know what they're doing or if they're doing it on purpose or what the heck's going on there, but we called up there to do a meeting with them because we thought we had the hours already, and so I could jump onto my phase 2 or whatever, and... they made it sound like we still had to do another 10 hours of observation or something like that. And I'm like, whatever. I'm just getting my experience right now. I know some of the other people on YouTube and other people tell you just to stay positive and stick with the company for a year or whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to get my experience and start calling around. As soon as I got enough experience on the road to go and work somewhere else and get paid better, I'm probably going to jump off to somewhere else. I mean, I don't need a whole lot of money. I don't have a whole lot of bills or nothing, but yeah, I don't want to do what they've got going on. I mean, I understand what they're doing. They hire the students because you got to have experience somehow, and then they take advantage of you to get 2 people in truck to do these loads, and that makes sense for them. I can't really hold it against them, but it doesn't make sense to stay here if that's their best paying account they've got. I don't see any reason to stick around for very long, but I'm still got a few weeks left of training to see what's really going on. I haven't actually talked to one of the ladies. Keeps calling me and telling me she needs to check in with me to see how I'm liking it, and basically, like he was saying, making sure we're not going to quit on them. But every time I call her, I called her one day and she hung up when I started to talk to her, and then it goes straight to voicemail. Now her voicemail's full, so I can't get a hold of her. I need to call the people for the loan. They keep calling, wanting to verify information with me, but Same thing with that. They call it bad times, or I'm driving, or I don't get a good signal to call them back. And tried calling them today. I guess they're off because it's Memorial Day, but not too bad out there, really. I mean, it's if it paid a little better, I wouldn't care doing the Dollar General thing, but it just seems like it's not quite enough. For 70 hours, the pay is almost what I was getting in 80 hours working at my last job, so they're not really paying more than I was getting before. You're just getting twice as many hours. So I know it's not a 9 to 5 job where you get paid by the hour, but I mean, I'd rather go work 50 hours somewhere and get a little bit of overtime and get just a little bit less money, and then not have to mess with all this crap if that's all it's going to be. You know, they're going to have to beat that for me to really care that much. So if I can go be a fast food manager and make almost as much as I'm making doing this, then it's not a very good account, really. So life on the road so far hadn't been too bad. We keep going to the same areas down there by the Mexican border. We're going from Ardmore, Oklahoma, down to basically the Texas-Mexican border, and then kind of by New Mexico, all along the border down there. There's a whole bunch of places we've been stopping. So we've been stopping at some of the same truck stops over and over. So I'm not really seeing a whole lot of new stuff. That's one of the reasons I want to do this, to see the whole country and stuff. So I don't think doing a Dollar General account's going to help me do that either. Spend way too much time unloading stuff. I mean, I want to see the country, drive around some, and get paid good. And I don't know if if the Dollar General is going to be good for that, because you spend a lot of time unloading and then you go to the same spots if you're doing a dedicated account, so you're not going to see a whole lot. So that's another big down point for me. I want to see more stuff. I know driving through the mountains and driving in the snow and all that crap's going to be rough, but I think I might try to go over the road. We had a little spot there where we didn't shower for about 4 days. I don't like that, really. I really want to get my own truck so I can get into my own habits and start doing stuff my way. But be a few weeks before that happens, I guess. Back in the same hotel over here in Gainesville. I've gotten paid twice now. The $450 a week turns into about $370 or something like that after they take out some of the student loan stuff and taxes and everything. So getting paid a little over $350 a week, really. It's okay for now to get my bills and stuff paid, but really like to start getting. Hope to get over $1,000 a week at least. It's got to be that to be really worth it out here. I'd really like to be getting like 15 to 2,000 something a week, but I know that's far off. I'm not gonna try to push for that right now. I mean, but yeah, I guess I'll check back in whenever I get a chance. Get all my laundry done, took a shower, eat some food, and relax again. I don't know when we're leaving tomorrow, but probably be another week or week and a half before I get another day off. Might try to make a video while we're out there on the road. I'm running out of space on my phone, actually. I need to get an SD card for it, or start deleting some videos, or I can't back them up on my computer because I don't have it with me, but I'll try to get some more interesting videos instead of me just complaining in hotel rooms. Just a little bit different than me doing it in my Jeep, but I'll check back in with you guys another week or so, I guess. Hopefully get some interesting information, make it worthwhile to watch some of these, but I'll see you later.